Hi everyone, in today's tutorial content I'm going to be showing you how to use the new Heart Frost Foam kit with Butter Ganache. You are able to then simply place your heart at an angle on the cake drum. I'm also going to be showing you how to pipe these stunning flowers and do that amazing chocolate drip. Everything you need to know, as always, in a simple step-by-step format. Let's make a start. Just to know, I have purchased mine from the official Frost Foam website and I will leave details in the description below this video. In the 6-inch kit you will get a 6-inch crumb cutter. This is a 6-inch liner base to prevent your cake from sticking, accompanied with the former base. Here is your former. This is where everything's going to go in, including the cake. And finally, you will have a liner that fits perfectly inside the former. So no need for a heart-shaped cake pan. Instead, I have baked 2 6-inch round cakes. You then want to take your crumb cutter and simply cut out the perfect heart. This recipe is available on my channel. You want to look for the Victorious sponge in the delicious recipes section. I'm going to show you how to do this base in a second. So basically I've created a Butter Ganache base. So on here there is already the former and the liner. Then there's a layer of Butter Ganache, which I'm going to show you in a moment. And now we're going to layer up the cake. This is so when we take the cake out of the former, we have got Butter Ganache on both sides and it allows us to place the cake at an angle. Simply add this with a small amount of buttercream, bang in the centre. You then want to add a filling of your choice. I am using American buttercream and I've roughly got 1 centimetre. Once I've done this, I apply my second layer of cake and crumb coat the sides. You then want to place your base former on top of the cup and make sure your former is directly underneath. Take the liner, now this has been washed, and simply wrap it around your former base. Once you have done this, you can just clip it into the top and gently slide it into the actual former. This is going to help your cake go in there perfectly. As soon as this is completed, simply lift up the former once you have pushed it all down, so that it lifts above the glass, and the glass will make sure that your cake is exactly in the centre, and that's how we put it together. In order to make the base, I simply put the frost foam together like I've just shown you with the cake, and I'm using Butter Ganache. For this, I've used 141 grams of white chocolate and 70 grams of butter. I'm going to be showing you how to make this in just a second for the cake. This is not my recipe and you will find it in great detail over on the official Frost Foam website, which I will leave a link to in the description below this video. I left this overnight in the fridge to chill, and then to release it I simply placed it on a glass, pushed down the actual former, and then you want to peel away the liner and give it a good wash. I do not remove the Butter Ganache from the former base. This is what I've just applied all of that lovely cake to. For the Butter Ganache, I'm using Aldi's white chocolate. Here I have 565 grams chopped up in one bowl and 282 grams of butter chopped up in another bowl. I'll be colouring this using Colour Mill, and you will find full details again of this recipe on the official Frost Foam website. Tip: when making Butter Ganache, if you place the melted chocolate over a bowl of boiling water, it will help you melt everything together an awful lot easier. So all I have done is melted my butter in a microwave, poured it over the chocolate. This chocolate is placed over a bowl of boiling water, and I now simply stir it all together until it is combined and completely melted. I then add some of the colour mill and stir this in until I get the desired colour. And this is the most satisfying part. Simply pour this directly into your frost foam over a chilled cake. If you are in a rush, you can then place this into a freezer. If not, you can leave it in the fridge overnight. Another little tip for you. Once you have done this, just tap it a few times. This will help release any air bubbles. We now want to release the base the same way we did previously using a glass. Simply peel away the liner. This has been left to chill overnight, but remember, if you're in a rush, you can use the freezer. Now we want to flip this, so place a cake drum directly on top, flip it over, and this will allow you to gently remove the former base and the liner base and look at the finished result. It's very important that you refrigerate your cake again. This is so you can physically handle it when placing it on a decorated cake drum. So on this cake drum, my fondant is still pretty soft. This will just help the cake stick to it better. And I have also placed some American buttercream just underneath. Using a ready-made chocolate drip melted in the microwave, I now apply this to my chilled cake. Just a few notes regarding the cake and the fact that I have placed it on the side. Obviously the front and the back are covered, but because I've used Butter Ganache, it's an awful lot more stable than any other buttercreams that you could potentially use for this cake. Therefore, I did find that this did hold its shape. It stayed exactly the same as I left it overnight. However, if I was going to be transporting this cake, I would highly recommend that it is refrigerated first. This will just ensure that everything is really solid and it will get there in one piece. For those beautiful flowers, I am using the following. A Wilton 2D, which is extremely popular. This will do those gorgeous rosettes. The second tip I am using is the Wilton 199 that you can see here in the centre. These are very popular nozzles that are used in other content on my channel. And finally, normally used for petals but can also be used for ruffles, the Wilton 103, which is a teardrop shape. So for the Wilton 2D nozzle, I wanted two-toned rose. Simply fill the outer edges of the bag with one colour and the centre with another. The other two nozzles, the 199, which is on the left, and the 103, which is on the right, have simply been filled with one colour. It's only the central one that I want two-toned. Let's pipe some rosettes first. So using the Wilton 2D nozzle, start from the centre. Gently work your way out while squeezing gently on the piping bag and then just flick away. I'm going to pipe two of these on camera just so you get a good idea on how to do them. I'm using my American buttercream recipe, which you will find in the delicious recipes section. I'm now moving on to tip 199. This is such a simple, easy piping tip to use, but just look how beautiful it is. I have used this on an awful lot of cupcakes. Simply gently squeeze your piping bag whilst pulling away and then just gently release. So again, I've just put these randomly on the cake. This is one of my favourites, the 103. So this is normally used for petals, but it's excellent for ruffles. You want the thick end of the teardrop touching the cake. Remember, this cake is chilled, so no damage is going to come to it. And then you gently move from left to right. Do this randomly all around the sides of your heart until you get the desired effect, but it really is as easy as that. Now for the finishing touch, I have actually created these stunning wafer paper quilling effect cake decorations, and I am going to be featuring this in new content, so do stay tuned to the channel if you want to learn how to make these at a later date. I am simply dipping them in a small amount of that white chocolate just because I'm working with butter ganache. If you are working on a fondant cake, these wafer paper decorations can easily be stuck on there with some edible glue. Simply secure into place with a cocktail stick until it is dry. And there we have it, our finished frost form heart cake. How easy was that to create? These wafer paper decorations are super easy to make. I can't wait to show you that in some upcoming content. Stay tuned everyone. I really do hope I've helped you again today, and I will be back soon. Happy baking!